seems like I'm live. I should be live now. All right, here seems like all the systems are up to. The frame rate is fine, so I guess we can start. Okay, so my name is Hightech, and on these live streams I talk about what just happened today in the cryptocurrency market regarding 11 years of my experience. What do I think about it? I also explain what Hightech meme coin is. Here is the mint address of it on Solana network naturally. So yeah. So bear with me. Ask questions if you got any, or maybe you want to share some, let's say, interesting info about what happened today in the crypto market. Feel free to write me in the chat. So Jesus is king, and let's go. Let's go. Let's see. Allow me to start recording, just so I can make shorts out of it later on. So yeah, I'll be reviewing live chat here on this tab and this tab. I'm live streaming to 5 platforms at once, and to one I actually do 2 live streams, which is YouTube. Here I live stream in 2 modes, a horizontal one and vertical one. For whatever reason, the vertical mode has much more reach, so that is why I open a dedicated tab for it, because if anybody writes me, most likely it will happen here. So, but coming back to the main topic. I mean, I will not be talking uniquely about cryptos. From time to time, I will drift away slightly because it's live, and I never prepare for those live streams. I never prepare like a special material, let's say. Oh, you know what? Actually, I forgot to do this one. Let me actually confirm that we've got sound. We should. So yeah. Okay, we do have sound. Okay, cool. So otherwise it would be weird. So yesterday's daily candle, as you see, closed in green, which is a very, very good sign. This is the first Thursday in green since quite a while already, and yeah, we've been waiting for it. And it finally arrived. And that's supposed to be a harbinger of a very good rest of the week. We'll see if it confirms this time. Hopefully it confirms. If not, well, that would be very weird, because we are literally at the end of October, last week of October. I mean, the next week will be last week of October, so we are fast in a fast pace approaching the most bullish week in a year. I think I will not be far from the truth if I say that. So yeah, I think you should fasten the belt. Should strap in, because this thing can shoot up at any given moment right now, especially when we talk about altcoins. If it comes to Bitcoin, yeah, probably we'll have a little bit of a recovery here. Probably we'll come back to all-time highs, or the vicinity, very close vicinity of all-time highs. That's what I see happening. Because we still keep maintaining this range here, keep trading in this range more or less. Resting on the support from here that continues into here. As you see, it has worked for us very well. It has held Bitcoin, saved Bitcoin from falling any lower here on Friday 10th. And that was a very good opportunity, for a much broader correction. But at the end of the day, it turned out to be a regular one. it was a black swan event on the altcoin side of the market, but on the Bitcoin side, nothing out of the ordinary. So yeah. So that's good and bad for Bitcoin at the same time. The bad is, yeah, it is a room to go lower, definitely, in case of, motivation good enough. The good part, that's the bad part. The good part is that it had strong. It had much, much, much stronger than altcoins. Most of altcoins. I mean, maybe not most, but way too big chunk of the market went literally minus 99% for a second. And it has never happened before. That was for the first time the altcoin market experienced something of that magnitude. So the altcoin market is definitely oversold, but the Bitcoin market, yeah, potentially it could see another correction, at least one more correction this year. And I keep telling you guys, the greatest threat of it is around mid-November. But it's not necessary, right? It's not a must. Maybe this correction that we had on October 10th already did the job, already has shaken out, the weak hands, the so-called tourists, and that will be it, right? But theoretically speaking, the TradFi market could motivate the altcoin market to score another one if something drastic happens there. But yeah, so far so good there too. As I said yesterday, today we are closing weekly session on TradFi, and we'll see how this weekly session ends. Let's go to SPY, because there we will get a pre-market, and pre-market is higher. Okay, so pre-market right now indicates we should have actually all-time high on S&P 500. Yeah, so that sets up a really good mood for the weekend. Another help that the crypto market should accept, for inspiration and bullish moves. There is large, let's say, crypto market population that tells you should not trust weekend pumps. Mostly true, but that's not a rule crafted in stone. I should definitely not believe it at all times, especially not after shakeouts. And we just had a major shakeout, and we literally went sideways for well over a week, which is a very decent cool off. So this is one of those times where I think you should not be afraid of weekend volume and of weekend pumps. That's my opinion, guys. If you have any questions, if you have any topics you would like me to tackle, then write me in the live chat. As soon as I notice, I will give you my take on it. And yeah, and remember, English is my second language, so from time to time I will say something weird, something that sounds weird. I'm trying to do my best here, but yeah, that's just the nature of things. And of course, don't forget about what's my motivation behind doing these live streams, and that is promoting a promotion of Hightech Meme Coin. That's the only project I will ever promote. I'll not promote any other anymore. And yes, given how small this market is, I think it poses a great opportunity for the future at very low risk, because you can literally throw at it a couple of bucks, let it sit, and I'm highly convinced it will turn into countable money within 1 year, 2 years, or 3 years, because I'm a very stubborn individual. So bring it to let's say global size, let's say, a size of a liquidity that will be, on the radar of every single crypto influencer out there. So here is your opportunity to get in super early at a very low risk. Whenever all you have to put in is like literally a couple of bucks to squeeze out of it, something that later becomes tangible money. Risk reward ratio is literally the one you are seeking after. So to be honest, yeah, I'm very positively surprised that SPY, as you see, is this high. I mean, there is still some time left before it opens, because I think it will open at 13:30 military time. So 1:30 p.m., 1.5 hours left. So, we still can see a little bit of a change here, a little bit of a shift. But for now, it looks very, very promising. And hopefully, Bitcoin will follow, right? It doesn't do it every single time S&P pumps. Actually, these days, it does not do it at all. It does not hold such correlation with S&P. Actually, it does even the opposite. Whenever S&P or SPY dumps, then Bitcoin dumps too. But whenever S&P or SPY recovers, then Bitcoin does practically nothing. So that's not the best type of correlation we are getting. But from time to time, we get that decorrelation where SPY or S&P 500 don't do anything and we pump. Right? So it's a little bit weird type of correlation in between the two or the three. Actually, the two, because SPY mirrors S&P 500. So yeah, what do I think about that? Another leg down probability happening this year, still this year. I think is fairly low. I mean, Friday 10th decreased the odds of that happening anymore in this year by a vast amount. By a vast amount. So, even low probabilities sometimes occur, come to realization. The best example I always give is Russian roulette. You have below 17% of blowing your head off. Nonetheless, nobody really wants to play it, right? So the probability you'll be fine is above 83%, but still nobody will want to play it because the stake is way too high, right? Once you lose literally everything, including your life. So once in a while, it happens. That is why, low probabilities, low odds do not mean it will definitely not occur. But a general rule, of picking up a side is to go with the higher probabilities, right? It will not play out every single time as you desire, so that's why you must strategize it well. What position sizing you choose for a given situation, for a given time. But yeah, just go with higher probabilities. So in my humble opinion right now, probabilities favorite. No second dip this year, or at least no second large dip on the side of crypto market, specifically speaking, the side of the altcoin market. I think that is extremely unlikely to happen. Even though, whenever we examine, let's say, what crypto influencers say, right? The mainstream crypto influencers say, they try to scare you. They try to convince you should maybe, get out of the market. I think there is quite a wide consensus among them that it is the right thing to do, which goes against the basic rule of how markets in general work, right? So they literally do the opposite of what majority thinks. Why? Because this is a zero-sum game, meaning that if you lose money, that money is transferred over to somebody who wins. If you win money, it means it comes from those that lose, right? There is like limited pool of a reward that everybody throws in a dime there, and the best one wins, right? The best, let's say 1% scoops it up, takes it all. That's how it works. At 99.999% of the time, right? Because that, of course, it's not hermetized because there is capital inflows, there is capital outflows from certain markets. So it's not like it's 100% exactly like it, but it's so close you can literally treat it as such, and it won't be very far from the truth. Yeah, guys, if you have any questions, let me know in the live chat. I will see it here, and as soon as I notice, of course, I will try to give you my take about it. It could be, I don't know, some news coming from the crypto market that you just have seen a minute ago or 5 minutes ago. It could be your thoughts, or whatever, or it could be your disagreement, right, with whatever I say here. All of it is perfectly fine. So yeah, so far as you see, Bitcoin is pushing up. That's cool. Probably to a certain extent inspired by how SPY pre-market looks, because it looks bullish. And yeah, soon I think I should get a buy signal on Bitcoin chart sometime today. I expect it to happen, because I had already one entry signal, but it ended up giving me a negative trade, and that happens. That's perfectly fine. Actually, with my algorithm, most of trades I get are negative, but the win-lose ratio is such that in 100, 200 trades, it gives me a very decent profit, because with the market this volatile, it's very easy to get things wrong. So you must have it strategized well enough. 50% of hit rate is actually really high, believe me or not. It's really high. If I have 50% of hit rate, I would be definitely the richest person in the world trading cryptos. Absolutely. With my algorithm, 50% of hit rate, I would be scooping up every single altcoin, every single profit, every single pump, squeezing the last juices out of it. This is how efficient 50% of hit rate can be if you have good enough risk-reward ratio management. So in my case, it's something between 30 and 40%, so way below. So that's why it's definitely nothing out of the ordinary to, I don't know, even see several, let's say, attempts in a row fail, giving you a negative trade, and then later on, getting that one really juicy, that not only recovers everything that you previously lost, but also tips you in a very handsome manner. Yeah. I see we have generated 50 views already. That's quite cool. Guys, give me your take. Give me whatever kind of a comment. So, or even say hi. Just say hi. If you have nothing to say, that's cool too. Just so I see there is people watching on the other side. It's always for an influencer, it's always super nice whenever there is an ongoing conversation coming from the viewers. Yeah, let's go over. In the meantime, of course, let's go over to Bitcoin dominance. And let's see if this one is finally giving up, at least a little bit. Okay, today is a red day. So let me repeat myself once again. I expect this one here to end up in this shape. So that will give us a formation of inverse Adam and Eve. Although I'm not sure where it exactly is going to roll over, it can have, it can come in different variations, different sizes. It could be like this. It could be even higher. It could be even like this. But yeah, the final shape will be resembling, I think, right? I believe will be resembling something like that. And when exactly that will happen, this one depends on how strong is still the downward momentum, or yeah, for the altcoin market, the downward momentum for the altcoin market, because altcoin market right now actually fights downward momentum, but it's resting on a very strong support, right? It's resting on a very, very strong support that gives us one of the best odds that we could get. It will hold. So I don't think it should be jumping out of altcoins now, to be honest. I think it should be slowly averaging into the altcoin market. I know it just scared the shit out of you on Friday. I know, and if you used futures market to deal with cryptos, then unfortunately, probably most likely just got wiped out. But that's only your fault, because here I keep telling you guys, stay away from futures market. Even yesterday, I recorded a material where I was talking about how not to lose in the futures market, at least not to lose, right? And that way out is actually not to trade on futures at all, because when you know the mechanics of it, when you know the details of it, if you're of average IQ, you should quickly realize, okay, that thing should not be dealt with, even from quote unquote a safe distance, right? Because it's way too rigged, way too dangerous. But yeah, if you stayed with spot market, you did not suffer that much, because vast majority of coins recovered quite well. And if you still have dry powder laying on the side, then I think you should be slowly throwing it at this market. And within the next couple of weeks, next few weeks, it will tell you sorry. It will tell you sorry, I love you, right? Regarding what happened earlier this month. And that will be a great, I don't know, great romance for at least few weeks to come, right? And then of course you will be advised not to forget about taking profits, right, in the way up, because it's very easy to get addicted to see how aggressively portfolio grows, and wait too long, wait taking a decision to take some of the chips off the table, and then before you realize it's all over, and you probably already added some lump sum at a local top that dragged you very quickly into negative, even though you were riding all the wave up, and then you are counting on a recovery. The recovery does not come; it drags you even deeper and deeper into negative. Yeah, that's a very common mistake retail is guilty of. So I'll be reminding you, right? Don't worry. That's why I subscribe to this channel, because I will help you with maintaining sanity, right, and right decision making, right. I'll be calling out when you should take a little bit of your chips off the table. Share, like, and subscribe, guys. Don't forget to do that, of course. And don't forget to throw something at Hightech, at my meme coin. That's the only project I promote here, and it will stay that way. That's why indirectly it's kind of a stock market of my social media. If you think, my personality, this format has a lot of potential to gain track, to become visible in a broad, let's say, cryptocurrency social media, then you should allocate something here, because that means probably this market will grow immensely from here, right? Because I'm literally nobody yet. My ambition is to become one of the most known crypto influencers on global scene. Same as, let's say, Ivan on Tech, same as Da Vinci Jeremy, same as MM Crypto. So yeah, if with let's say around 1,000 of subscribers from all of my, let's say, live stream channels, we went from $1 to $138, almost 139. Imagine what will happen if I have 100K of subscribers, right? Altogether, 200K of subscribers, 300K of subscribers. Where the price of this asset gets. So just, be here before them. And like I said, you don't really have to bet big. That's what I tell you. I actually tell you not to do. Bet small. So the risk is really, really minor, and the potential reward is the same as if you bought a Bitcoin in 2010 or 2011, right? Back then you could literally throw a couple of bucks at it, and today it would be, I don't know, $200,000, $300,000, very countable money. So yeah, let's go over back to Bitcoin. Maybe let's leave it here for the time being. Let's see how Crypto Bubbles is doing today. It's very green, as you see. Mostly altcoins are just recovering. We don't really see any spectacular pumps yet, but those will come. Those will come. If you watched me shortly after Friday 10th, I was literally telling you what's coming next. And so far, the first, let's say, part of my prophecy has fulfilled, right? So I said probably we will just go sideways for a week or a week and a half. The market will be cooling off, and it will be regaining the upward momentum, which will convert into a totally different class of an upward momentum. Why? Because we just had a huge shakeout of weekends, meaning that order books on sell side will be completely or nearly empty, meaning that it will be very easy for the price to penetrate higher price levels with very little to almost no buying pressure. So yeah, we are still in that, transitioning period. But once it finalizes, it will be very visible. I know what I'm talking about. So that's why, yeah. Pay attention, just pay attention. And like I said, subscribe to this channel, because you will not hear that type of knowledge, you will not hear that type of advice from anybody else. Why? Because they encourage you to trade on leverage market, on derivatives, where you have literally zero chance of succeeding. Yeah, you will have, from every now and then, you will have a very nice winning streak, but you know very well it comes to an end, and then it rips the last shirt of your back sooner or later, right? So especially, it's especially true to those that have been around for, I don't know, a year or two, maybe three, and started the contact with crypto market through futures market. So let's take a look. These are looking, so Fear and Greed index at 32, slightly higher, but still very low. Altcoin season index at 24, very, very low. I'm not sure. Okay, this one is from 23rd. Yeah, so it's from yesterday. So we had a little bit of outflows but not that much. Okay, Bitcoin inflows, right? Yeah, Bitcoin's small inflows, Ethereum outflows. Okay, but small outflows. So oh yeah, generally not that bad. I will be far from panicking here. It's actually it paints quite a good picture. And liquidity heat map. Let's take a look at this one. Remember, guys, if you have any questions, let me know in the live chat. I love whenever my viewers interact. And for whatever reason, it's quite difficult to get that interaction on English YouTube. On my Polish YouTube, it's fairly easy. Every single live stream, there is a very live conversation in there, but on my English YouTube, I don't know why people choose not to interact. Maybe, I don't know, maybe the amount of subscribers I have is still just not enough for that to happen. But yeah, I highly encourage you to give it a shot. I don't bite, don't worry. I will not be criticizing you or anything. Let's take a look at monthly scope. So nothing has changed, still the same. Most of liquidity above the price. Strongly suggesting we will pump, right? We'll continue with the pump. So yeah. Okay, let's go over maybe to my X timeline. Let's see what we are dealing with from the news side. $4 trillion banking giant JP Morgan just announced to allow Bitcoin as a collateral. Here we go. Yeah, that's something, to be honest, because it means you can borrow from the bank showing how much Bitcoin you have, right? So instead of selling your Bitcoin, if it's a long term, like a very, very long term, let's say, loan, you can borrow money from the bank betting on Bitcoin going higher. I don't know, in the next, let's say, 5 years. You don't have to sell your Bitcoin, or you don't have to sell it at once in large amount. You can just, just to satisfy whatever, let's say, agreement you signed. You can sell it little by little and keep paying it off, while on average your Bitcoin grows in value, right? So that's a huge one. That's definitely a huge one. I would not bet on Bitcoin going much higher in the next 5 years. I would definitely not bet the house on it. That does not mean it won't happen. It can happen. It definitely can happen. But me, I would not bet the house on it, right? So I rather discourage you from trying something like this, unless you have really shitloads of it, like I don't know, few thousands of bitcoins. Then yeah, you can afford mistakes like that. But if you have just few, then probably I mean there is too much of a risk. Too much of a risk that something goes against your expectations, and you will end up actually losing instead of winning. Because it's always good to remember that old but very true saying. I've been in here for 11 years and have experienced it on a couple of occasions. The market can remain irrational longer than you can remain solvent. I mean, in my case, I never have gone insolvent, but I could definitely feel how true that saying is. So whenever you want to take a little bit too much risk for your size, let's say, for your possibilities, remember about this proverb. It's a very smart one. Share, like, and subscribe, guys. Don't forget about it, and don't forget about the opportunity I give you here as influencer, High Tech Meme Coin, the only project I promote here, the only project I will be promoting here until I fade, until I just go home, go on the other side. You will not see me promoting any other project anymore. So That means, with 63 holders so far, this market is literally microscopic. These are the earliest day of this project. So if you are searching for something with a great upward potential, upside potential, and with very, very low risk, so where you actually can win big, risking very small amount of money, it's literally here. In the description section of this live stream, you will find a tutorial how to get it, how to acquire it. Because for whatever reason, sometimes it's quite difficult to find it on, let's say, Jupiter or Radium, typing in only the ticker or even a mint address. Sometimes it pops up, sometimes it doesn't. That's probably because of still low volume, right? The volume here, that the volume that occurs here is like very random, very irregular. So I'm guessing that's the cause. But of course, that will change, right? With the growth of this YouTube channel, with the growth of other, my live streaming channels, things will change for the better here. So yeah, so since I realized that YouTube gives me quite a decent reach when I live stream in vertical mode, so I decided, the criteria for finishing a live stream will be reaching a certain amount of views, right? Because before, when I was live streaming, let me tell you, before when I was live streaming in horizontal mode, I rarely got 2 views. Right now I'm live streaming 36 minutes. I used to live stream like for 1 hour and I was getting 2 views. And now, as you see, I'm getting 96, right? So I think things will move forward from here quite nicely. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe, guys. And first of all, yeah, subscribe. Subscribe to the channel. Do not lose it, because later on you may be interested in watching my content. You will be, you will be remembering about it, and you will not be able to find me. So yeah, okay, let's go over to my X and let's see what else we've got. Someone using a $300 home Bitcoin manages solo mined a block worth 347,000, beating unbelievable odds. Incredible. Yeah, nowadays it's possible because those mining equipments that really stand a chance of giving you a block, right, of mining a block, are not as expensive as they used to be. As you see, for $300 you can purchase one. That actually makes sense. And and yeah, the guy got lucky. He got very lucky, to be honest, very lucky. I'm not sure, are the odds for mining a block with equipment of that size, of that worth, are better than, let's say, I don't know, playing a lottery. I will have to investigate it. Probably are a little bit lower, to be honest. But at least the game is not rigged. That's the good part, because lotteries usually are rigged. So calculating that into the picture, then maybe the odds in mining are actually much greater. Crypto saving expert, DeFi perps volume surpasses $1 trillion in October, setting a new record with Hyperliquid leading at $317.6 billion, followed by Lighter, $255.4 billion, and Aster. Okay, yeah, that's quite a lot. That's quite a lot, no doubt, no doubt. But those guys, they work really hard to. I mean, like Hyperliquid, for example, they work really hard on bashing Binance for whatever happens in the crypto market, because I see way too many profiles that do not respond to basic reasoning why they should not be, for example, piling on CZ that has nothing to do with Binance at the moment. Besides that, around 2 years ago he was a CEO, and he was literally sentenced to a prohibition of coming back as a CEO to Binance, as an employee, generally as an employee to Binance, and to sit on the chair of CEO again. So to blame him for whatever happens in the crypto market, that's the most stupid thing that you can do. Like, you are literally saying to everyone around you, are an imbecile. And those guys, even if you write them in the comment, like, what the hell are you talking about? CZ is not the CEO of Binance for, soon it's going to be 2 years, like he's gone. Why are you saying it's his fault? They will not respond to you. So that tells me, and on the other end of the stick, they will say, yeah, you should go over to Hyperliquid, let's say, right? For example, Hyperliquid. You should be trading preps or futures on Hyperliquid. Now you should not be trading on leverage anywhere, because on Hyperliquid, the market makers have even greater advantage over you than on CEXes. Actually, CEXes make you much safer than DeFi, because on DeFi everything is visible, so they can very easily play you. On CEXes, centralized exchanges is not as transparent, so yeah, you're actually safer there, ironically. But in my opinion, once you criticize Binance in such a manner, and you point to, let's say, Hyperliquid, I have a very hard time believing you're not paid by Hyperliquid. Very hard time, because no arguments will make you reflect on what you just said, which is obviously not true, and you're shilling a certain exchange. To me, that's evidence hard enough that I don't need anything else, to be honest. Share, like, and subscribe. Guys, don't forget to give me a subscribe. If you have any questions, of course, write them in the live chat. If you have any suggestions of a topic, also write it in the live chat. If for whatever reason you cannot comment, it probably means because you need to subscribe, and then you will be allowed to comment in here. Actually, you know what? Some messages such as potential spam may not be visible. Okay, you know what? Let's do it like this, because sometimes it interprets comments wrong. Just in JP Morgan to allow institutional clients to use Bitcoin and Ethereum as collateral. Yeah, we've seen that one. Okay, so but that includes Ethereum. Okay, in the previous post we did not see Ethereum there, so okay, so not only Bitcoin, Ethereum as well. That's interesting. If interest is rising, Ethereum spot volume climbing while open interest drops, real demand replacing leverage. Yeah, that's a good sign. Not the bottom yet, but the recovery is forming. Yeah, that's a good sign. What we want to see is as much volume as possible on the spot market, not on futures market, on any kind of leverage type of market, because that's a fake demand, a totally fake demand. Just in Swiss Bank, Signum, and Bitcoin lender Debify launched first bank-backed Bitcoin loan platform with user-held custody. Okay. That's actually a form of leverage too. Bullish. White House crypto czar David Sachs declares bipartisan crypto market structure legislation will pass this year. They are running out of time, of course, to make it happen this year, but probably they will pass it. My question is what form it will have exactly. Hopefully, it's not too harming, because regulation has very easy to harm a market, at least temporarily. I always see it as a kind of a threat. Whenever I hear about regulation, to me that's a negative. Normies, they consider it as a positive. To me, from my experience, I've been 11 years here. It so far it always has been a short-term positive and later a negative. Unfortunately, when it comes to crypto market, it's so flexible, it's so fluid that at the end of the day, it's really impossible to regulate to an extent such as the banking system. Even the banking system is not really that possible to regulate, to hermetize. But crypto is a completely other dimension. Binance founder CZ just said Bitcoin will flip gold. That's $2 million per coin. It will happen. 20x from here, not impossible. Crypto has seen things like that happening. Breaking. A massive whale just scooped up $217.5 million worth of Bitcoin on Binance. Someone's loading up heavy before the next leg up. Yeah, as I said, it is possible we will see another leg down, but the odds favor it much stronger upward moves. Bitcoin junkies. Apple CEO Tim Cook says he owns Bitcoin and crypto, but that I think is quite old interview. I've been interested in it for a while. I think it's interesting. Yeah, that's an old interview, like from 2021, I think. A very old one. But get used to it. I mean, if you are new here, get used to, reheating of old dishes, of old plates. That's what this space does. Many news that they will serve you will be highly inaccurate. They will just, cherry pick the part they like. They will they will leave the part that they don't like. Leave it out there behind the doors, And if you know the whole picture, if you hear the full news, then your take on it would be completely different. But yeah, here people want to spark pumps, and cash out on you, and leave you holding the bag. That is something what from my side you will never see happening. That's why I will show only one project, which is my project, and I will do everything that serves it the best. I will never propose you a ref link or anything, to a derivatives exchange where I know for a fact you will get liquidated sooner or later. You stand literally zero chance there. And I know it's sad to hear for most of people, let's say, stumbling upon my content, but I'm being real with you. I just know, from the math perspective, how it works, and it's just mathematically impossible. You make your living from leverage trading, from futures trading. Breaking: President Trump just pardoned CZ. That's the news of yesterday, and that's pretty cool. I believe we should press CZ to come back on CEO chair of Binance. Why? Because CZ was a fighter. I mean, he wasn't agreeing with anything regulators said, right? And Richard Teng, he's actually a guy of World Economic Forum, as far as I know, and he's a yes man. He's literally a yes man, and CZ, that is why he went to jail, because he wasn't a yes man. But because he had shot loads of money, so he went just for 4 months. Just because he's ridiculously rich. That's how it works, unfortunately, in this world. They just spanked him on the wrist. What is that for 4 months? Come on. That's nothing. So that already tells you he literally did not commit any crime because he went for 4 months. Bully. Senator Loomis just urged the U.S. to sell its gold reserve to buy 1 million Bitcoin. That's also something that Michael Saylor is pressing on. Like he says every single time he meets with Donald Trump, he tells him to sell all of the gold and buy Bitcoin. Incentivize gold, make Bitcoin world reserve currency, and crash all of the reserves of the opponents that are right now, piling up gold reserves. And that makes sense, to be honest. That short term, that makes a lot of sense. And who knows? Maybe US is going for it. Could be. Maybe they're waiting for the right time to actually, go like really heavy that direction. That will not catch me by surprise if that's the case. Because remember, I do not trade manually. I trade with my trading systems. So, in real time, 24/7. If Bitcoin goes to, I don't know, $1 million or $2 million, it does not do it without me. Because even if I'm asleep, my systems allocate whenever they see an upward momentum, they stay in it until it disappears, right? And that's another huge incentive of, subscribing to this YouTube channel, because whenever my systems detect it, I share it with you, right? I tell you, okay, I just got a buy signal. I just got a sell signal, right? And like I said, it's not like it's 100% accurate. It's far from it. But the win-lose ratio, the risk-reward ratio, is so good that it beats HODL by a far margin. Like if you were trading, if you traded with my system, if you had traded with my system, let's say since 2017, you would have made 10x in Bitcoin since 2017. In Bitcoin, not in fiat. In fiat, it will be much, much, much more. But in Bitcoin, it will be, at least 10x by now. So quite a hefty amount. Still like and subscribe, guys, if you haven't done so. And write me in the live chat if you have any questions. How long have I been live streaming? 52 minutes and 170 views. That's 17. That's decent. That's very satisfactory, to be honest. Considering when I was, live streaming before, I was struggling to get two views. Not even to talk about the watch time. I was getting nearly no watch time. So yeah, that's a game changer. That's a huge game changer. But yeah, remember, because some of you maybe prefer a horizontal format. I mean, me myself, I always prefer a horizontal format. So if you subscribe to my channel, then it will be very easy to get notification from the other, let's say, the other live stream that is already in horizontal format, because you don't see the full size of the screen. It's cropped. It's just so it looks a little bit more reasonable in vertical mode. So yeah, I like what we are seeing here, to be honest. I really like it. You see, there is a visible buying pressure on Bitcoin. On altcoins, it kicks in slowly but firmly. Yeah, you see, right now we are sitting above that zone in between 245 billion, 250 billion. This zone is actually very important historically speaking. It was giving us very, very decent odds. Once we were finding our comfort above it, it was giving us a huge odds of sparking a sizable rally And I believe the rally we are about to see will be bigger, much bigger than those rallies we've seen so far in the recent 2 years. So much bigger than this one, much bigger than this one. I think the one we are about to see will be of much greater proportions. And that's probably because, I mean, initially it will probably start because of how oversold we just got in the altcoin market. And somewhere on the way, highly likely we will get some news, or maybe a working product already of TradFi where they use for real the stablecoin market. So like I was explaining you guys before, the biggest change that is about to come is not Bitcoin strategy, Bitcoin reserve. It's not sovereign Bitcoin reserve. That's a secondary class of narrative, right? The primary one is TradFi switching from banking system to stablecoins. That's the elephant in the room. Once that starts to happen, the altcoin market will experience immense capital inflows. I mean, considering its current size, right? Because the TradFi market is hundreds of times greater than the whole crypto market. So just a small a fraction of a percent of TradFi market coming over to the altcoin market will cause bombs we've never seen before. And since TradFi will be already on stablecoins, the stablecoins already are very well connected with the altcoin market, through all type of blockchains, all type of bridges, and so on. There is no walls anymore that can stop TradFi from transferring from TradFi to altcoins, because so far those walls were made by the banking system, and they are just about to go away, to fade away. That's what I expect to happen. It will be a biggie. It will be a biggie, and the biggest trick in it is that it's very easy to get distracted with the geopolitics right now, because people, think the WW3 is about to happen, so you should not invest in any type of risk-on assets. But what is being painted, or actually sketched on the draw board, on the blackboard, is pointing literally the opposite direction. That the risk-on assets will absolutely thrive in what's coming. The space, like very speculative assets, high speculation assets, whenever there is no barrier in between the world capital and this type of this class of assets, it just must feel it in a biggest way possible, in a positive sense. There is no other way around it. It's just technically, mathematically impossible. It will not affect this market positively. So yeah. Okay, let's move on here. I'm waiting for 200 views, to be honest. When I reach 200 views, I'll be done with this live stream. Hopefully my ISP will not cut me off before that happens. So let's see how much longer it takes. That's my new goal, right? That's my new goal for these live streams. That on every single live stream I do in vertical mode, I'll be waiting for 200 views, and let's see how the pace of it increases. Because the more subscribers I get, the easier it should be to, let's say, achieve that mark. And it's somewhat encouraging, to be honest, somewhat encouraging. Whenever you see, the stats are doing well, whenever you do what you plan to do and you see the stats are doing well, it's very encouraging to actually keep going. So yeah, 16 years ago you could buy 1,309 Bitcoin for $1. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, right? That's what I'm saying when I talk about high tech meme coin, right? That right now those prices are cheap. Those prices are really, really cheap. Even though it's $138 per one coin, that's still very cheap because how many holders we have. Here the criteria is not the price, is how many holders this market contains so far. Just 63. How many holders of Bitcoin there was in 16 years ago, right? That will be 2009. Not many. I mean, probably more than the 63. So that would make actually this market here even greater opportunity in its current state. But still, it's the logic. The logic is exactly on pair. Is that consistent comic? Yeah, it is. So this is an article coming from Crypto Saving Expert. It absolutely is coming. Do not let anyone fool you. The altcoin season will not come anymore. Those guys, they don't understand how markets work. It just doesn't work like that. It doesn't work that you can sell off the market, sell it into oblivion. It's still listed on the biggest exchanges in the world by a far margin, and there won't be any pumps. There is a certain mechanics of the market that mandates things to happen when time comes, when everything falls into place. Bitcoin reacted to currency stress. Ethereum is responding to geopolitics. The same playbook is unfolding, same fear, same zone, same explosion incoming. It will stay like that for a while, for a longer while. This cycle will be longer. It will be definitely longer than previous cycles. How much longer? Well, we'll see. I'm quite sure in the shortest scenario, it will last well into 2026, into deep 2026. In many cases, it can last even into 2027 and deep 2027. Like I said, it all depends on how fast TradFi will switch over to stablecoins. That's the biggest player right now. Coin Bureau, USA and India leading in crypto adoption. Really? USA, I know. India, I wouldn't be so sure about it because India is first of all a much poorer economy, and for those that are more familiar with me and know very well that I live in Africa, in a country that is definitely not the richest, and I know how much the data about crypto is faked here, right? Because, for example, people sell their IDs, their personal data, to open, let's say, crypto exchanges accounts to their name for a small amount of cash. So, hoping that will never have any consequences related to it. So India must be full of something like that. And where I'm at, where you go in the streets and ask about crypto, most of people will not know what the hell you are talking about. Like every I don't know, maybe every 10 or I don't know 15 people will know something. They heard something but they will not know how to use it. What possibilities it gives. Maybe one in 50 will know something, or maybe one in 100. So yeah, translating it into in an economy that per capita is doing much worse than that, let's say, that practice must be much more popular. So always put that lenses whenever we are talking about one of those countries, that third world countries, or where generally the population is quite poor. Always have that lenses when you want to get the full picture. Coinbase CEO just said the Bitcoin crypto market structure bill is about to pass next month. Yeah, probably it happens. Bitcoin to follow gold. If gold probably is up for a correction, that could be it as well. But yeah, me when I look at this chart, it gives me a vibe it will go slightly deeper, but without Bitcoin. Fortunately, without Bitcoin, I think observing what people were doing with gold within the last 3 weeks, that they were selling gold watches not for the watch price but for the gold price. That's like a typical sign of the top of the bubble. So it's perfect. It will be perfectly fine with gold to correct much harder from here. Maybe even come down to this 3,300 vicinity. That does not mean gold will, I don't know, completely stop its rally here. It's bull market, probably not. Given it's denominated, of course, in US dollar here. So measured in dollar, probably it will keep growing after it experiences the initial sell-off, which at the end of the day it has to happen on every single asset, no matter how significant, how valuable, how important it is. Once it enters the bubble territory, it has to see some kind of a sell-off. That's perfectly fine. Share, like, and subscribe, guys. Don't forget about subscribing to this channel. If you watch it on YouTube, of course, or if you watch it on Rumble, on X, then just give me a follow. Here, as you see, I'm live streaming to 5 different platforms, and twice to YouTube, because to YouTube I live stream in horizontal and vertical format at once. And I get love only from the vertical. From the very vertical format, I get love. From the horizontal, not really, because as you see here, I got only one view on horizontal format. This is how bad YouTube is. Oh, it's really bad, especially when you start. Let me share that knowledge with you. If you're a beginner, you just decided you want to, I don't know, be a live streamer, do live streams, that is your thing on YouTube, immediately go with vertical format, because with horizontal format you will be wasting your time. Nobody will be watching you, unfortunately. That is how YouTube algorithms work now. I have wasted a lot of time live streaming for literally nobody in horizontal format. Oh yeah, what else we've got? Massive CPI handle has printed. CPI, what was CPI? It was some kind of a report, and there is no Grok to help us with this one. By the way, you don't really have to follow any news. You don't really have to follow any reports, coming from Federal Reserve or whatever other governmental branch. Doesn't matter. What matters is the chart. Chart already includes all of the information you need, and it gives you the probabilities. It gives you the real data about the sentiment, what is known publicly, what is still behind the closed doors. It contains all of it. That's why me, I do not bother I'm not really that interested in following the news. Here I follow it for entertaining purposes, and I comment on it, but it's just you can very well. I mean, if it wasn't for this YouTube channel, you would never see me reading the news. Never anything. The only thing I would be doing, um, the only thing I would do in that situation is checking my trading system. Is everything okay? Is there no critical errors popping up, or that kind of just maintenance of my trading system. I would never look at X to read about anything. maybe you know what? No, I read only Binance announcements, what gets delisted, because if a coin that I trade gets delisted, then of course that's a minus. I cannot sell it anymore. I cannot trade it anymore, so that would be a capital stuck in there. Coin Bureau CPI numbers are out. Okay, so that what they were talking about. What Coin Bureau was talking about, core CPI month over month, 0.2 versus 0.3 expected. Headline CPI 0.3 versus 0.4 expected. Okay, so I guess the lower it is, the better it is versus the expected. Since we pumped. Okay, so Crypto Guzia is commenting is bullish. But it's all fake. It's all fake. It's just, creative accounting. They just make it look good. They change the criteria so it looks good whenever they need it. They change the criteria so it looks bad whenever they need it to look bad. It's ridiculous. It's literally ridiculous. Share, like, and subscribe, guys. Subscribe to the channel. Don't forget about subscribing. And of course, don't forget that this is a different YouTube channel about crypto than any other YouTube channel, because here I offer you to indirectly invest in this channel, right? We are still at the beginning of the road. There is a lot of growth potential here. We are on YouTube. We just crossed 100 subscribers, and you can have a skin in the game through High-Tech Meme Coin, right? This is indirectly a stock of this YouTube channel, and all of these live stream channels, right? Because I also live stream to Rumble, Kick, and X. So yeah, that's a very unique proposition from a crypto influencer to participate in something like this, and this is a very early stage of it. So okay, rumor: President Trump is considering bringing CZ on the White House crypto team. That's interesting. And yeah, there could be some truth in it. There could be some truth in it. I mean, since Trump just pardoned CZ, maybe that was the purpose. I don't know. Big breaking. Katie Wood says Bitcoin will hit 650K to 1.5 million by 2030. Like, if it's 2030 is really far off. So that's over 4 years from now. A lot can happen. There are multiple very serious threats that Bitcoin is constantly facing. One of them being, malicious, let's say, updates. Like, for example, the one that core developer team committed just earlier this year. One of them being quantum computers. One of them being AI as well, and the competition that they helped rise. because nowadays it's much easier to create a new coin, write your own blockchain with help of AI. This one we've seen already. Eric Trump says the Bitcoin floodgates are opening. I think Bitcoin will hit 1 million. It is possible. It is possible, but it will not come easy. US inflation rises to 3%, lower than expectations. Okay. But was it below 3%? I don't think it has been below 3% since rate hikes. The order book is set. Bitcoin's next move will be violent. Yeah, most of the of the liquidity is above the price of that favorites pumps. On-chain crypto perp DEXs surpasses 1 trillion in trading volume this month. Okay, we've seen this one. You know what, guys? Allow me to wrap it up here, right here, because I see I get the same posts over and over again. So I don't want it to become overly boring. Share, like, and subscribe, and don't forget to allocate into high tech, something small, $1, $2, $3, so you don't risk anything. Anything that could you put you in a bad place. The upside potential is absolutely crazy anyway, so you don't really have to bet big here. So just 63 holders so far. This is the earliest days of this project, let's say. So same as with Bitcoin in 2010, 2011, you didn't have to risk much. To later on, as you know, already earn significant amount of money, and I believe that is the case here too. So the link to how to acquire it you will find in the description section of this live stream. I made a tutorial about how to do it. It's fairly simple. So go there and watch it. And like I said, don't go too crazy here, because this is still very liquid market. It's not really ready for any big commitments. That time will come later. But the upside potential is really, really good here. Even if you just go with it very easy, it will still, in my humble opinion, within 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, will give you a lot of satisfaction, right? So yeah, thank you for your time, guys, and I see you sometime later today, probably. Cheers.